Good morning. My AirPods unfortunately died, so hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm just on my computer audio today. And welcome. And of course, my sump pump keeps going on the day that my AirPods died, so we'll see where this practice takes us today. It's our last practice of 2025 together. And I struggle with the calendar and like Gregorian time. So I don't put too much meaning on like the new year. Um, and Santa, I'm glad you're here this morning. I think that the lunar calendar is so much more meaningful as like the time as it relates to like where we are in space on Earth. It just makes so much more sense to me. And as I picture the calendar more as like a circle or these like concentric circles even as like how we move through time. It makes so much more sense to me. So anyways, take it for what it's worth. Where I do think there's meaning in the Gregorian calendar, and I have resources on this on my on the Insight website. So you're welcome to dig deeper if you'd like. But where I do think there is some meaning here is how Insight Milwaukee came to be. And I've shared this story a couple of times, and I think it bears repeating today. Around late November 2024, I was in a silent meditation retreat with Insight LA, and I practice a lot with folks in Los Angeles. And when I was in a one-on-one with my teacher, I was deep in despair about what a failure I was for this silent practice, this retreat that I was on. And I was thinking, like, isn't it so funny that when you're in like these depths of despair, you're like, I don't know, it was just like a wild mental space. And then what I got out of that when my teacher was like, your coping mechanisms and all of this stuff you're going through, these aren't moral failures. You're not a bad person for having experienced all of this stuff, right? If anything, it makes you truly human in your shared suffering. So I learned a lot on this retreat that I was on. And maybe a week later, I was thinking, like, why is it that I have to practice, not have to, get to practice with all of these incredible people in Los Angeles? And is there an opportunity to find something in Milwaukee? And we didn't have any insight centers, of course. So I was thinking, like, in this flash of clarity, well, like, you do something about it, girl. And Insight Milwaukee was born. And we started our study and our practice together with the Sati Sutta, and this will come out in my newsletter in January. There is so much, even in mindfulness practice, that we can continue to uncover. So why I go on this long tirade, as I usually do, is we started 2025 with the foundations of mindfulness, and we explored all of the weirdness and the curiosities and the unfolding. We layered on our insight practice on Thursdays, and there's just so much that can happen when we go to these foundational practices. 2026, like the calendar year, resolutions, all of this, like this really good stuff. And I think it's like this huge wave of energy and consciousness that surrounds a fresh beginning. And what mindfulness and insight remind us is that the beginner's mind is something that we can take personal responsibility for. We are supported by the new year resolutions, all that good stuff, the new moon that is coming, lunar cycles. And remember that we are personally responsible for the unfolding of the beginner's mind every single moment, every single breath, every single sit. That's why we practice. So, for today, we will not go through the entire Satipatthana Sutta word for word. However, we will go through the large categories as kind of a wrap up on the somewhat irrelevant construct called 2025. But we're going to have a little fun with it. I'm just so thankful that you've joined me this year. I'm very much looking forward to continuing our study together. If your eyes have been open, you're welcome to close them. And with all good things, we start. The foundations of mindfulness arise in the body. And with the body, the most acute sensation of life is breath. One of the biblical scholars I follow even talks about the beginning of life starting with a breath. So this is not specific to Buddhist practice, although it is founded there and is principally located there. Christianity, which occurred 2,000 or 3,000 years after the Buddha. Life begins with the breath. And we can simply know we are alive by knowing we are taking an inhale. The quality of knowing. How directly can you know your breath? Knowing on an exhale. I say that phrase, the quality of knowing, because you can be in a place of observation or examining on the periphery, but the quality and depth of your knowing this is the quality of our sit. Knowing the posture you've taken in your body. We played around a little with mudra this year. The posture of your hands. So much power in our hands. It's really our hands that make us so different than all other species, most other species. The quality of knowing in how gross our body is, our fluids, all of the ick. The material elements of our body, earth, the solidity of our bones and our muscles, water element, our fluids, our blood, fire that exists in our digestive system, and the element of air as it flows through our breath. mindfulness of the body in the body. This body that will fade away. We go deeper with contemplations of feeling. Feelings of pleasant, unpleasant, even the quality of knowing on numbness or non-feeling. The arising and falling of sensation, knowing that all is impermanent. This too shall pass. Contemplations on consciousness. We go deeper and deeper with each new component of the sutta. Consciousness of lust, hate, ignorance, expansive or shrunken states of the mind, developed and undeveloped, concentrated or unconcentrated, free or constricted. And finally, contemplation on mental objects. Hindrances. Clinging. And the Four Noble Truths. Suffering exists. It is human to experience suffering. Avoidance and clinging of suffering is suffering in and of itself. And we can free ourselves from the cycle of suffering. Time and space for us here. And remember, an entire lifetime, surely there have already been lifetimes committed to this sutta in and of itself. What stood out as something calling on attention and mindfulness today? Remembering. We sit. One of the things we often hear in practice is that you, the student, the practitioner, are your own best teacher. Teachers holding space, we offer the direction, point to the North Star, some of these truths that have stood the test of time. It is your direct experience with what unfolds in your own experience that you will learn most from. Certainly has stood the test of time, contemplations of the body, of feeling, of consciousness and mental objects. Stay in your experience. We will be closing our practice a little early today for an extended gratitude session. You are welcome to close your mindfulness, maybe hands at heart if they're not already there, but maintaining soft or closed eyes. Gratitude for the mundane, the lively, the community, the teachings, the energy, the sacred and the profane, the drama and the subtlety. Gratitude that we get to bear witness to all as it unfolds. My endless gratitude to you live on this call or watching the recording. As a teacher and space holder, I learn most when I get to share and think critically about this experience. Gratitude to your abundance, your timeliness, showing up, your dana, everything that this community has offered. We close our practice with the merits. May the merits of this practice be of benefit to all sentient beings. We know this in truth. We include ourselves in the circle of compassion. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. I will post in the chat some of those resources I was talking about. Otherwise, they are on the website if you need to look at them. Have a beautiful New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and I will see you in 2026. Thank you.